to make it quick, I kind of had been earlier in my career. I played a lot of like the best friend, the goofy neighbor, So I was playing a lot of characters where kind of along the same lines as Joey from Friends, and I was trying to make a transition into more leading man character type roles, and so I was going through a period of a dry spell in my career, and I hadn't worked for about a year because it took a little while for me to convince the business that I could play something other than what I had been playing. So when I walked into the test at Warehouse 13, man, I needed it. I needed a job. I wanted a job. I had just had my second baby. My second son had just been born like 2 weeks before that. And, I was staring the reality of not having a job or any money, squarely in the face. So I was a little high strung for the test. And, when we got to the test, usually there's 2 of each character. Well, when we walked in, there was like 7 or 8 Micahs and 7 or 8 Petes. So you just kind of go, oh, they have no idea what they want. We're just a number here, and my chance of getting this job is 1 in 8. So if that. And so we went in and we started mixing and matching the Micahs and the Petes and going back and forth and going back and forth. And it kind of was getting, it seemed to me that you could kind of tell, at least I could tell, who they were paying attention to. And then the guy that went in right before me, the director came out and he said, "Hey, come here." And he put his arm around this guy and he walked down the hall with this guy, and I was like, that's it. And I started taking off my tie, and I took off my tie, and I took off my jacket, and I was like, that's it, man. You know what? I got these 2 babies at home, and they're like 2 little chicks. They're
baby birds.
They're little birds, and their necks are stretched out, and they're waiting for me, Daddy, to swoop in with the regurgitated worm and give up the worm. And I got no worm, man. I've got no worm to give. And I was actually saying that out loud, and not to anyone really in particular, but like literally Joann was sitting in one of the chairs.
He always says that. It's not true. I was just like not freaking out. I wasn't zen.
I was in the lotus position
sweating
with the bindi on. And she was like, "Dude, come hither." And I sat and talked to her, and she kind of talked me down a little bit, and she's like, and she's pretty, so it's always nice to have a pretty girl pay attention in the midst of trauma. And next thing you know, they
pulled us in the room together.
Pulled us in together, and we had just been sitting out there talking for a while. So
I made a mistake. I was supposed to say showboat, and I said showbot. And he looks at me and he stops and he starts doing the robot.
And I was going, showbot.
He kept going. Like,
and then I did
stop,
a Michael. I can't do it in the chair. I did a Michael Jackson kick and then a hee. And everybody just kind of looked and was like, "What?"
So I tried to kind of get him back on track with the scene and everything. And
she I
hit you and was like,
said,
"What are you
"Shut
doing?"
up,
and kind of like, just kind of urged him back towards the lines and the dialogue. And,
much like our job.
Yeah. And we left the room and they said, "That's the show." Right there.
Mark Stern was like, "There it is.
Yeah.
We need to look no more."
We need a crazy person and a sensible person.
And so ironically,
sensible. Crazy, sensible.
Decide for yourself.
Crazy sensible.
Ironically, like for me, my biggest fear in a test situation is to make a mistake, and because you only get one chance generally. So the irony being, we kind of got hired on.
So you figured breaking out into Michael Jackson move is not making a mistake?
Well, I will be doing it from now on.
You will, won't
Every
you?
test.
Every day.
And then little cuppage.
And this was before the reemergence of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.